before starting the whole sessions, we actually started working with remote repository. So what is this remote repository? So let's understand it. Okay. Okay, first of all, like in general, what happens is a developer actually creates the code and makes all of the changes in the local system. Then he or she basically pushes the code to a server. So GitHub is something, or you can call GitLab, is something where developers do push their codes, keep their codes, and so on. So it is basically a cloud-based server, and GitHub is owned by Microsoft. So basically, it gives the access for the students or anyone just to keep your codes and so on, right? So this is basically a remote place, okay? Like remote in the remote location. So here you saw previously when we started from in our first session, you could easily create a repository in the remote one, maybe GitHub or GitLab. So this will be called remote repository. So it is basically remote, so everything happens here is basically a remote one, right? So it's local. So this is our local system and this is the remote one. Okay, now we will understand all of the things related to our remote one. Now explore the local repository that Sarah has been working on. So locally Sarah was working on this location, right? You know, previously, like home, Sarah has story blog. Great. Like now we're just starting again, that's why. Now you can see git log. If we check the git log, or clear this out and check only by one line, that is better. You can see we have five I would say five commits, right? Isn't it? We have five commits: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The master branch have now 5, right? We're currently in the master branch, right? Great. But the number or hash commit hash has changed. It is I mentioned why it changes. Is basically the reason is simple. Every time we create this one, start the lab, the code cloud people in the backend, they have actually create all of the stuff. So that is why. But the concept is same. Now check the log to see the number of commits. We know it is the number of commits are 5 commits. Okay, great. That's awesome. How many stories has Sarah written so far? Okay, so here you can see how many stories. 2. Count the number of stories in master branch. 2, only 2. We know, we know. Great going, Sarah. So far Sarah has been working by herself in her own local repository in her laptop. So till now Sarah was working in her own local system, right? And it's time to share her work with the team. So now the factor is Sarah was by now she was basically working in her local system. Now the thinking is she has to push her code to in a remote place, in a place from where others can download the code, that means clone or basically fetch something and work on it. Okay, so Sarah has to push her code to some repository, and it is basically remote one, in remote place. So it can be GitHub, Bitbucket, or anything. It's totally up to you. Okay, now GitHub is awesome, but for the purpose of our lab exercise, we will be using Git. So this is something the code cloud people actually created, so that you can understand all of the features are almost same like GitHub and GitLab. So you just don't need to worry about it. You can just check it out how the whole platform works. Okay, okay, great. So you may access the GitHub platform. Okay, what we want to do? Let me check if I can create it here. Okay, that's great. I don't want to log in from here. Okay, just going in the private browser, better for us. Great, you may access this one. That was the portal. Okay, so we are going to log into the portal. Yeah, this is basically similar to our GitHub, but it's not for sure. Just almost same. Just we are going to get all of the things. What we have to do in general, you have to create a GitHub account or GitLab, and then you are going to sign into it. So okay, we have created an account, which is basically this is Sarah's avatar. No issues, and you can see repository name. We have to create a repository. So just following the process, we can create a repository. Same. Okay, and we can create the repository. I've created a repository. That's great. So in general, if you create a GitHub repository, maybe you have worked in a local system, now you go to your GitHub and you create a maybe repository. So this is how it will look as a whole. Okay, now we'll just going to check it out, like if it's done. Great. Now the thing is that from within the lab environment, the remote repository is accessible at the okay, no issues. Local repository is okay. So this is our local repository, like a local location, and the target repository. If you see from here, the link for this is like maybe SSH is this, and the HTTP link is this. So this is our target link, okay. And if you have seen from the first session, and what you will see is we start with CNCF glossary, and we had to actually copy the HTTP code, and we did actually clone it down, right? But when we are actually working with something and we want to push our code to some remote place, we have to go through some process, and the process is something like this. Let's understand about it from here. Okay, so the thing is that in your local system, in the folder or into the terminal from where you were working, you can now set, like, there is a location in maybe GitHub or GitLab or any place, and you can create a repository, and basically you are going to upload all of the content within that to this place. So in your local system, you also have something which is story blog, right? Within this folder we are currently at, right? Within the folder we are currently here, right? If you just write down pwd, you can see we are here in the story block. Also in our remote repository, we created something called story block, so that is similar. Okay, now we are basically going to upload all of the content within it, right? There is some content within it, so we are going to upload it. Basically we are uploading that, right? It is also story block, right? In our we gave this name, right? Now the thing is how we can actually pass it on. That's the question. The question comes up with the answer as well. So if we just add git add, then we can just set the names of like where we want to do that. Like we have to first of all mention what we want to do. So previously we knew if we take it to the staging and we gave it add, but also this is same, like we are mentioning we are creating something, okay, which is basically we're giving it a name which is origin. Now just understand the process. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so git, previously we have understood with git add, now it is git then remote. That means we are saying we are currently adding our remote repository into the local system. We're basically connecting, okay. Git remote, sorry, and then add. Then there is something called alias, okay, which is basically name. So original is something is doesn't mean original something. It's basically we're giving the name. Now we'll understand, and that link, okay. Okay, it seems remote. Okay, now this is basically alias, a name, like you want to like wherever we are going to use original, it will mean this link, okay. Because every time you're just going there copy paste the link, it doesn't make sense, right? So git remote add, that means whenever we are going to mention original, we are going to mean this link, right? We're going to so you, okay, great. So we know right now that git remote add and origin, that we can do that. So currently we are in the location, so we are going to add this git remote. And also you can say how we got this link. Basically this is the same link as, like you can see git .example /Sarah, then storyblog.git. It is basically the same, right? Okay, great. We're just going to paste it down. Done. So we haven't done that much of thing. We're just saying that whenever we are going to mean this origin, it is going to mean this link, okay. That's it, simple. Now which command can be used to push data to our remote repo? So okay, now the thing is that let's assume now what are we looking for. Now we know that we have given my bad, I just wrote original, it should be origin. Okay, we can also give it original if you want, no issues. No, my bad. Okay, now the thing is that you can push your code in a way. So you know this origin means the link. You just now if you want to push all of your code of a branch, you are currently in the master branch, right? We are in the master branch. You have to go to that branch and you have to press it git push then origin. That means push the code into this link. Okay, this is the origin, and origin means this link. Okay, that's it. So we're just going to do it git push origin. But here is also an important part, from which branch you want to look for. So it is better as we want to use the master, so git push origin master is something you can go for, right? Great. So now push our content stories to the remote one. Now we can do that, but here's an interesting part as well. Okay, like maybe now you know you are Sarah, okay, and you also created the repository and you know you have your account password. Now if anyone like except Sarah, maybe it is Max, tries to push the code, Max is not the owner of the code, right, into the remote one. So to authenticate, we are going to provide our name and password also, so that from our terminal uses that name and password to log in there and then add the code. Okay, so now if we use this like git push origin master, that means push all of the codes of master to this link origin. Okay, just understand by this. Origin is an alias, there is nothing like command, so you can go provide also original as well, right? Origin and master, so all of the codes from master to the origin, and origin means basically the link, right? Simple. So we will understand that concept now. Master. Now you see that it needs like authentication, so we are going to provide that. Okay, okay, basically when you give the password and copy paste, that is not shown here, so it's better for anyone, so that it is hidden, right? Okay, now you can see we have pushed it. Now is it there? Not so, right? But if we just kind of refresh it, you can see all of the files are here. Why here, or y2, you can see we have these two we have these two files, right, in the master, but we should have 5 commits out there also. That's the real point, right? You can see all of the commits out here. Okay, yeah, here you can see 5 commits, right? We have 5 commits, right? Merge, the last commit was merge this branch, the branch, right? The last commit was merge this branch. So it's awesome, right? You can see in the repository like all of the things you're doing locally has been done. So that is why we have been learning after like learning from the issues and PR, we started learning about these things, about how we can work locally, because when you started cloning the CNCF project in your local system, and then it is the time for you basically to look forward to this, right? Because you can now work locally, create branches locally, and so on. Okay, that's awesome. So we've done some awesome work. Now, great, we have already pushed it. Changes in the, okay, we have viewed it. Also looking in the remote repository on GitHub, can you identify the total disk space? It's basically, you can see here 20 KB. Great, no issues. Now also setting things up, there are a few things that are getting changed. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's explore the repositories and teams in organizations, see who is doing what. How many users can you see? Okay, here in the explore, if you go here, you can see the users, 1 2 3 4 5. We have 5 users. That's not an issue. Oh, my bad, it should be 5. It really depends, like, organization. This platform is different, not, it is surely not like GitHub or GitLab. Now we can see who owns the most number of repositories. So we have to check everyone. John have no repositories. Max have no repositories. Tej have 3 repositories. That's good. Tom has 1 repositories. Sarah have 2 repositories. Okay, great. Should be Tej, I guess. 3. Okay, so you can ask like, Tej seems to be working on e-commerce application. How many commits have been? Okay, let's go Tej's project. So this is how you also can use Git and GitLab. So just go there in people's profile and see how many things are doing. So if you go to the e-commerce, you can also see there are 19 commits, right? Great. 19. Okay. Sarah seems to have accidentally created repositories. So like now this lab has created a repository in our account. So if you check out here in the repository, you can see git blog. So we need to delete that also. And to delete that, basically delete this repository. Yeah, please delete it. So okay, no issues. Okay, now if we check it out, like we have just one. Okay, that's great. Okay, done. So we have successfully learned about these stuffs, right?